From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. The meeting begins shortly with an agenda briefing, then the regular meeting will begin soon after. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Morning. All right, let's take a look at the agenda. I've got the invocation this morning. Mr. Aycock, you've got the pledge.
Sir.
Let's see, we'll do the approval of minutes. Or any adjustment to the agenda, Mr. Wood?
Not that I'm aware of.
Anything from commissioners? Okay, that's good. And then we'll have our new director coming in from Social Service, Tammy Shrinker. Is that the way you say that? And Mr. Mayo.
Tammy Shrinker.
Yeah. Mr. Mayo is going to introduce her for us. Public comments, and we do have a couple appointments.
We do.
Okay. I put a big star out there so I wouldn't skip it this time because I've been doing that every time. Unfinished business. We're going to be talking about the retail pricing for the brick pavers. Any comment on that, Mr. Wood?
Well, we've given you a recommendation here. I think we've gone around and around on this. But the 4x8 pavers would be $125. The 8x8 pavers would be double that, the $250. And then the 8x8 pavers, if they want a logo, would be $500 each. That's what we recommend.
Okay. Then we're going to have a motion to authorize the chairman and the clerk to execute an engineering agreement with Freeze and Nichols, and that's the, I'm sorry. Go back.
On this logo, are we going to specify that being a company logo or a commercial logo or something like that?
We'll only do it for corporate, I think is what we agreed.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah, so I think we would need to kind of specify the logo because logo could be a number of things. Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
I think you're right about that. Okay, then, as I've said, the engineering agreement with Freeze and Nichols for the sewer merger/regional feasibility study.
Yeah, we got the $50,000 grant. We have been negotiating with them. Craig has gotten that taken care of, and so we're ready with that.
We're just a gatekeeper of the grant. We don't really make any decisions on it, do we?
I'm sorry.
We're just a gatekeeper for the grant. Is that correct?
Pretty much. The grant, we agreed to be the grantee on that and to do the hiring and all of that. But we've had the other entities involved in that. I think they went through the applicant interview process with us in selection. So some of what we would have liked them to have done a little more detail, we couldn't afford. We went back to the state and asked, can you give us some additional funds to do this? They said no, they were limited to the 50, so we feel like we've gotten everything we can for the 50,000.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The public is of the impression that this board is encouraging that hope, and we really are not. We don't have a dog in the fight. We just simply are facilitating it from the standpoint of the state wanted the study.
Yeah.
So I think we need to clarify.
Let me give some background. Well, I'll do that at the 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll do that at the 9 o'clock.
I appreciate it.
Okay. And after that, we'll have a discussion of the state funding for the buyouts and elevations. I guess you have some updates for us on that, Mr. Wood.
Yeah, I think you're going to do that, aren't you? On the buyouts, discussion of state funding for buyouts and elevations. Okay.
Or we can wait and just do it.
Let's just do it.
Well, I think what we were talking about was where do we go from here? Because I think there's a concern about whether or not we're gonna get the money from FEMA. So I think we were just gonna have a general discussion on that. So I'll make a few comments there.
Well, I didn't want him to have to get up and discuss it twice. I just.
Yeah, we want Chip to be the face of this overall situation.
Appreciate that. Because as we learned yesterday at our meeting that he does represent the state.
That's right.
Correct?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Guys, you had to have been there. Okay. Going to the consent agenda, I guess the exclusions are all.
They're all fine. They're all legally
Okay.
allowed.
need to cut my phone down. Sorry about that. Budget amendments.
First amendment is for Wayne Net. They're requesting to reallocate $10,000 from the salary and wages line item to extra help. This is really a correction in our payroll system of their part-time positions. Some of them were listed under the regular part-timers, which would put them under a category of receiving benefits, but that's not actually their job description, so we're cleaning that up. For emergency services, reallocating $300,000 from the regular building and structures line item to building and structures Golden Leaf Station 1. This is because this particular station is supported by the Golden Leaf grant, and as we usually are required to track those expenditures separately for grant funds. For the 911 funds, $7,237. They're reallocating this from non-capital line item to a capital line item. This is for a Spectrum GPS clock, which is it's something that helps maintain the connectivity between the towers. They actually asked for this during the original budget cycle, and it was approved, but they budgeted for it in non-capital, and it's actually a capital line item. So it's not a new request, it's just it was put in the wrong line item, so we're moving it to the correct one.
I appreciate y'all explaining to me what the importance of this clock
I had to have some help with that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, because when I looked at this and I said, we're buying a clock for $7,000.
That's what I said in the agenda meeting.
So
It synchronizes all the
Towers.
towers.
it synchronizes the tower.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a
If
fun
not, the
line.
simulcast doesn't work.
I'm looking for the word that is required.
It's required.
Okay.
This is kind of, you've always heard, they start and stop wars with Navy time in Norfolk. This is almost as important for the fire system.
One of those shall have.
Ooh.
Okay, for the health department, and there's actually, the next several are for the health department. This is to budget an additional $1,474. They received some additional funding for one of their programs, the TB control program, so we are budgeting for that increase. For the health department, an increase of $18,881. They received additional awards by DPH for the Minority Diabetes Prevention Program. And Pitt County Health Department will be carrying that program out, so these funds will be used to pay them for that. For the health department, the WIC program, they received some additional funding from the state of $9,790. This decreased the local appropriation from the county that was required to supplement that program. So we're decreasing the county amount and increasing the state revenue. For the health department in the child health program, they are decreasing that line item by $30,128, and the health department is going to offset this decrease from DPH by not filling a current vacancy they have in this program. For the health department, their STD prevention program, they received an increase of $592, and this will be used to do some additional testing in high-risk male patients. For this one is actually for various departments. We had sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. This is to cover the merits that were and the reclasses that were done in the 17-18 budget. You all had budgeted for this in the contingency line items. So this budget amendment is quite complicated looking, but basically we are moving the contingency to the various departments to cover the salary increases for those various departments. Is there any questions about that? I believe you all received a copy of the spreadsheet behind it, so it gives you a breakdown by department of what the cost was for each one.
Did that completely balance out at the full 600,000?
No, sir, we did have some cost savings with that.
And where did you put those?
You leave them in the contingency in case you need
So you
them.
just leave it.
That's
We'll
correct.
end up using them somewhere down the road during the year.
Hey, what I wanted to hear.
Are there any other questions about that one? Okay. Then for the final one, $14,381. This is to reallocate funds. As you recall, our misdemeanor fees, we are anticipating to increase. So rather than use fund balance, we're increasing our revenues in the misdemeanor fees. And this is just to make an adjustment to our pension and benefits, some adjustments that need to be made to those. Questions?
Questions of Ms. Bailey?
I want to, and I don't know which number to back you up to, but I'll just
Okay.
mention it. Back in the health department section, you said that you were transferring some funds because, and it would be just because they were not hiring someone.
That's in the child health department, number 84.
They didn't get some state money that they had anticipated. So
Okay,
they're
the state
having to
did,
cut back.
so they had to cut back. Didn't just cut back.
Oh, no, that's not voluntary on their part. The
Okay.
state, there was some of their budget figures when we're preparing the budget are not determined at that time. They have to estimate it. And so that's why we've got several here. They've received a final determination or an adjustment to their budget so that they have to absorb that in their program.
And the reason that I ask that is not so much anything technical. You all's process of doing this is just to bring attention to the fact that I would not want to see personnel who would do something for the public reduced for any reason that was voluntary or management that took away from their services. All right, I'm like Medicaid, I get on a kick sometime, and one of them is our medical opportunities for folk not to be decreased. It's taking longer and longer to see a doctor out in the public world. I would not want our agencies to reduce the opportunity for people to be seen more quickly by reducing personnel for whatever reason, Mr. Manager. That's my point for this.
Anything else? Okay, moving on to 5, this resolution to approve, allow Hale Artissiper, if I said that right,
Yeah,
to use
just-
pyrotechnics
I
at
don't
the
know.
fairgrounds, and I see Mr. Lewis is there, so we've got that in there.
Right. And that's fairly perfunctory. They've gone through, they've checked everything, everything's fine, but our ordinance does require that you vote on it.
Okay. All right, moving over to new business, I see Mr. George Williams is coming in again to talk to us about the
Right.
Law Enforcement Appreciation Dinner that
That's
he did
right.
last year. And then student access initiative by the Library Director, Donna Phillips, should be coming in. And the motion to approve the resolution authorizing the manager to apply for hazard mitigation grant funding.
Yeah. And this is for the 88 homes. So we need to go ahead and file this. And y'all saw where FEMA has put a freeze on everything temporarily, but the directions we got from the state were go ahead and file everything and be ready. And then when Congress does unfreeze the money, then we'll be ready to go on these 88.
We need to do our part and go ahead and
That's
get it
right.
done. And moving on, let's see, is James Wade coming
James
over?
will be here to go
for the
over that with you.
Operation policies for the Maxwell Center. And then we'll have an authorize the county manager to bid out the work for the welding component of the Advanced Manufacturing Center and enter in an MOU with Wayne Community College.
Yeah, and what we'd like to do, Dr. Walker has a conflict. He's got to be at a meeting at the college at 11, so I'm asking that y'all move that one up.
I was gonna do the same thing. I talked to Dr. Walker the other day, and he would appreciate it if we move it up and just so he could get back to the college.
So
Why don't we do this, when he comes in, when we just go ahead.
we just go to
we'll
him.
Finish what we're doing
At
with that, take our
point.
time,
That
go ahead and let
would,
him
that
come
would be
on up.
helpful.
He's gonna be here at 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Is this the bid to actually move the welding department, George?
This is the proposal we had been talking with them about where you would advance the money. And actually what we had been talking about is that we would do the project. At this point, he told me late yesterday, that in reviewing this with the state, it looks like the state would still have to do the project. So when he gets here, we're gonna have a more in-depth discussion on it. Because I'm in favor of doing it if it saves us time.
Right.
But if the state's got to do the project, if it's not gonna save us any time, it's kind of a moot point. But I would like to see what he says when he gets here.
Okay.
On that.
Okay, motion to declare a building surplus and authorize its demolition. That's the old,
This is the old pregnancy center. I think everybody knows it. It's right in front of our veterans' offices. And what we'd like to do is, the building's in not very good shape. It's very cut up on the interior. What Kendall and I are recommending is that you authorize us to demolish that and then incorporate it into the parking lot. It sits in the parking lot. And we're in dire need of more parking over there, both the Veterans Office, but particularly the Senior Center. The programming has just taken off since we went over there. People are having to park on side roads and things like that now. And I would just remind y'all, a lot of those seniors have mobility issues, so it's not a good thing that they're parking on side streets and stuff like that.
I go over there quite a bit, so I know what you're talking, I know what you're talking about. It is a bad parking
Yeah.
problem. You know, in a lot of, yeah, I am. We're getting older. But I did wake up breathing this morning, so that was a good thing. But especially the disabled vets over there, a lot of times they don't have where to park.
Right.
And it's
That's
a real
right.
problem, so I'm glad to see this.
So that's the pregnancy center that'll be coming down.
Yeah, they relocated. You know,
Okay.
you were renting to them. They voluntarily relocated. We did not ask them to. They came up with a better location for them. I think it's further down Ash Street near
Across from
Meadow
Meadow
Lane
Lane.
Elementary School.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've relocated several months ago, and Kendall and I went in to look at the building to decide what we might do with it. And the more we looked at everything, we said, we really think we just need to add it to the parking.
Yes, sir.
Let's go way back in time and history. We turned down the Wayne Dairy Bar.
I know.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. I remember that.
That was the local dairy co-op.
Okay, they will approve the demolition of properties jointly owned by the city and owned
Yeah,
with the city.
Yeah, we have a request from the city to do this. They are jointly owned. The policy we have followed in the past is we split the cost, and that's what they're asking you to do, because we do jointly own them. So you split the cost of the demolition, then as the properties are disposed of, you share the proceeds if there are any.
All right. After that, be county manager's comments, then board of commissioners, and we do have a lunch.
And I'm going to
Hey.
keep mine short because of the lunch.
So we're over there at noon at the Wayne Center.
So what you're suggesting is that the rest of us keep ours short too?
Yes, sir.
That's why I went directly to we need to be there at noon. I'm sure we need a closed session this morning, is that correct? Yeah, and that is for what reason?
That is to discuss the location and expansion of industries and businesses in Wayne County and to consult.
Is there a motion to go in closed session? Those in favor, raise your right hand. We're in closed session.